Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Abraham Complains. This time, I'm in a vehicle that I own. That was a lie. I told myself, 2024, New Year's resolution, stop lying to everyone and anyone around you. And I just broke that resolution. Well, guess I don't have to try again. Just like the last Abraham Complains episode, I am sick and tired of the oppression that me... Alright, no, that's a joke. I am sick and tired of that, but I am quite literally ill. I have an illness called capitalism. The first thing that I'd like to complain about is roads and traffic. I spent an hour or so in traffic and it was one of the worst hours of my life. I hate how poorly designed some roads are. And I'm saying this, I'm talking about suburban roads that actually get looked at. I can't even imagine what the disgusting gravel roads, the disgusting unsealed gravel roads that no one's ever seen before look like. I'm recording this right now in a regional town, in a country town, in a rural area. No, it's a regional area. The vibes are... It's what can I say, right? I mean... It's just off. It feels weird. Do you know in horror movies where people go to country towns and they start to feel scared? That's me right now. I'm terrified. But what was I talking about? Yeah, some roads are just poorly designed, and I don't just mean in terms of mitigating traffic. Some roads, you'll drive on them and there was a water build-up on the side because nobody thought about, what about when it rains? I know, right? Rain? What a rare occurrence. So yeah, I drove on some roads at high speeds where there's just water building up, and I was like every 10 seconds, you know, because you keep hitting the puddles of water that keep forming for whatever reason. Whatever, I can kind of get past that.
Which is actually interesting, right? The road that leads to the M31 in Melbourne, it's called Sydney Road. I don't know, in Sydney is it called Melbourne Road? Because in Melbourne we have something called Melbourne Road, and that's in Williamstown, which is southwest.
What was I talking about? Yes, the dual road, right, on the M31. There was a crash or something. There was like an incident, and a bunch of guys like in like uniform, just standing around, yes, there are no survivors, yeah. By the way, that lane being closed created like 10-15 kilometers worth of gridlock. Just one lane being closed for 100 meters, and then once you're past the closed lane, you can go back out and drive 110 kilometers, because on regional roads, you can drive 110 kilometers. For the Americans in the audience, 110 kilometers is roughly 110 divided by 1.6 miles. I'm not going to do the math. You do the math for yourself. I'm not a generous guy. But yeah. Why? First off, a double lane highway is already telling me that you need more lanes. Like, one more lane would fix the traffic. That's all I'm going to say. Just one more lane. One more lane. Just made it a 3-lane highway. 3-lane highways never get blocked, okay? So add one more lane. And the other thing is, can people stop driving like maniacs, right? So we have an emergency stopping lane and people are using it as a real lane. Even trucks, right? Like, I can understand a Mini Cooper, or what's a tiny car, like a Kia or a Honda Jazz. I saw one of those on the road today. I was stuck behind it for 20 minutes. And I was thinking, who in their right mind has ever bought a Honda Jazz of their own accord? Yeah, like a Honda Jazz, like, go in the emergency stopping lane, it's cool. But then I look and I hear, dude, a massive truck, because trucks love using the M31 because they got to get between Melbourne and Sydney and Seymour and Kilmore and Wangaratta and Wodonga, and these are all real place names. And did I say Wagga Wagga? Did I already say that one? And squeeze by in this tiny lane past me? Nuh-uh. Cut that out, man. Just drive like a normal person. On the topic of roads, right? 100-kilometer two-way roads. So a two-way road, I believe, is where you have one lane, one going one way, one going another way. It's a two-way road, and there's nothing separating them. That's fine for 50 kilometers an hour. That's fine for 60 kilometers an hour. 80 kilometers an hour, I've been on two-way roads. I've been really stressed. I'm like, oh my God, what if I hit the guy across from me? Like, I gotta lock in. 100 kilometer an hour two-way roads? Who designed that? Who approved that? Like, I know it was approved ages ago, but we could just separate the lanes by like a piece of paper. Put a piece of paper between the lanes and I'd feel so much safer. Just, that's the second 100 kilometer an hour two-way street I've been on in a week. Last week, I was on a, but there's a rule, no matter where you are in Australia, there's gonna be someone living there. Always. I should have told that rule to the Europeans when they came, but they didn't have that rule. I figured it out now. Took way too long to figure that one out, but there's always people in Australia, everywhere. Driving in their 4x4s. Speaking of, everyone around here has a 4x4, and that I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. I don't like 4x4s anywhere else. I'm a suburban guy, and every time I see someone like drop off their kids in a 4x4, I'm thinking, you don't be needing all that off-road action. You need to drive to school, drive back home, drive to Woolworths, drive to Coles. That's it, right? People always tell me like, oh, I get a 4x4 for safety. That's what I prefer. Okay, so you get a taller 4x4 and eventually everyone gets a 4x4 and then a 4x4 becomes useless, so you need a taller one. And have you seen some of the trucks? It's not even trucks, just some of the cars that are on roads today. They're just huge for no reason. You don't be needing all that action. No one needs that unless you're like hauling kangaroos in the back. Even then, that's a stretch, right? What am I complaining about? Oh yeah, sickness again. I woke up with this. Let me just complain about myself for a second, right? I had a sore throat on Sunday, which was New Year's Eve, the 31st, I believe. I woke up and I'm like, oh no, I have a New Year's party, I need to attend. I can't be doing this, right? I accidentally dosed myself with laxatives. We're changing the name of this series to Abraham is Thankful For. About things I'm thankful for. Thankful for the ice on my wrists. 7:06, Tuesday, the 2nd of 2024. What are my New Year's resolutions? Number 1. I got nothing. Number 2 is to try and keep my ego in check. And that's all. Let's see, that's a little clever joke. Your parents do not have a right to call you unwise because they created the conditions for you to either develop or not develop wisdom. Like, at the end of the day, your choice, especially as a child, your choice, your agency is extremely limited. You're pretty much doing whatever, like following whatever random impulses, and the environment that you're put in shapes pretty much who you are for the rest of your life. By the way, that's another thing I want to complain about, right? No matter who you are, so many of your problems stem back to childhood, and I keep telling that to people and thinking about, okay, so whatever you do, you will always traumatize or damage your child in one way, and they will always be broken forever. Like, obviously some people are more in pain than others, but it seems like everyone has roughly an equal amount of problems that equally stem from childhood, which, dude, isn't that a little worrying for any prospective parents out there? Not to me, of course. I'd be an awesome dad. That's a lie. I'd be my kid. I can't say that. I cannot say that at all, and I will never say that again. Well, I just swallowed my own mucus. Man, the whole free will thing. That's Abraham complains. Next topic: free will doesn't exist. Oh, look, a snail. Live slug reaction. The vibes in this rural town are off. Might get attacked at any second. Being non-white in Australia, there's actually zero racism. And obviously we don't know the full scope of quantum mechanics. Meet computers. The same snail. Speaking of immortality, this soul, do you love your family? Love isn't real. And yeah, I'm on board with that, honestly. Subjectively, it is objectively real to us. I'm not just referencing the 2001 hit single from Tool's album Lateralis, Parabola, where he says, pain is an illusion. Okay, fine, I'll take my hand off the hot stove. If fish feel pain, I'm in a lot of trouble, I'll tell you that. Science says that red makes you cool. Talking about evolution. Gravity. Nah, I don't want to be one of those people who says educate yourself. Educate yourself. Uneducate yourself. Go to a book and burn it. Sigma male grind set. Stop being funny. Wow. Non-materialism. Maybe I'm someone else's pet peeve. I'm about to walk past some people because you get to have prisons. What? No way. Look at epistemically justified planets orbit the solar system. Like, that is incorrect. Believe it. Do not bring that quarry over here, guys, please. So, this car has a kind of modern music playing system, so it doesn't have a CD drive, which kind of upsets me because I have a bunch of CDs that I'd like to play. The volume controls are here and here, and on the steering wheel, but there's no knob. There's no volume knob. This is worse than that one car that has a knob for the gear shift. How do you not have a knob for volume? What kind of a knob designed this? I hate when my good nature, my awesome, humble, amazing nature ends up making life worse for me. For example, I like exposing myself, but I went too far. A couple problems with that. Number one, look at this. The Republic of Gamers. Oh, that's something else I can complain about, right? What a stupid name for a brand. It sounds like the least livable country in the world. The Republic of Gamers? I can't even begin to tell you how horrible that place would be to live. Notice how it's a republic and not a democracy. Was Socrates even real? Okay, that's my next thing I'm gonna complain about. Greek philosophy is so old. Those guys had no idea what was going on. Any field of science developed more than 200 years ago, those guys were racist. They were so racist. It's not even those guys were like, do you know how they developed the scientific method? They developed the racist method. If you look at any field and trace back far enough, it's gonna have horrible origins. I don't really judge Darwin or any biologist from that area for being eugenicists. Like, that's a horrible thing. They did horrible things. They came up with dumbass ideas. They came up with bad ideas. Isaac Newton, for instance. That guy was an alchemist. You cannot turn lead into gold unless you have a particle accelerator. He didn't know that. He didn't know what protons were. What an idiot. What a numbskull. I'm joking. Newton is one of the smartest people that ever lived. Am I going to throw away the theory of gravity and what else did he develop? White light. Am I going to throw away the theory of white light because of that guy? No. Let's say Einstein killed 17 people. Allegedly. Okay, let's say he allegedly killed. Let's say it was like an O.J. Simpson case, right? What am I even saying, man? What am I even saying? Okay, let's say he did that. Even if Einstein allegedly killed those 17 people, the theory of general relativity isn't incorrect. Well, it has some kind of flaws and breaks down at some points, like let's say when you get to infinite density, but 17 people has nothing to do with that, right? Same with all the, like, we can say, hey, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, those guys had great ideas, right? I'm pretty sure some of them had slaves. Young slaves that... Just look it up, man. Just look it up. Socrates, young slaves. Yeah, but that's poisoning the well. I don't like that. I don't like... What other logical fallacies do I see? Oh, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for watching this video. Peace out. Have a happy new year. Hope you stick to your resolutions. Yeah.